February is over and it's time for another monthly art recap. Let's go over the art I've done this month, choose our favorites, reflect on our mistakes and successes. Every single piece I'm about to show is a commission, aside from the very last one. First artwork is called Night Hunter. It is a piece of a Blood Elf Hunter that had a pretty imaginative armor. That means it is not like a one-to-one copy of the armor from the game, so I had to work off a reference for the most part. In the background, I was requested to paint Silver Moon, which is quite ambitious for a quick illustration, but I think I managed to capture at least the vibe of the city correct, with the colors and just some ambience. Second piece, Bloodthirst. It is a Maghar Orc commission, and the main request was to make him like savagely looking, like maybe like Garrosh Hellscream, like a iconic character from WoW. And this is how I decided to capture this expression with kind of like a roar and some blood on the ground, and just some barons in the background as a very iconic orc zone from the game. Mostly while working on this, I tried to pay attention to shapes and like simplify and make some of them as angular as I can. If you can pay attention to the hair, this is mainly where I was expressing this idea. So like all the shapes that I could do as angularly as like geometrical, even if they are organic in nature as hair, I would try to do so. Third piece, Wildfire. This is actually a big illustration commission that I started last month and it carried over to February. This one was just like a huge piece, an explosion of shapes to work on. If you can pay attention to all the mist, all the fires, everything in this piece was pretty much about shapes. Main struggle was by far the cat and just both animals. I don't know, just something about this cat is like this tiger is definitely challenging. Not really used to painting animals, so another thing is the composition overall. It was a quite careful act of balancing everything together. The animals, the main character, all the like fire and everything. I don't know if I managed it well enough, but that's the best that I could do. This was easily, I think, 30 to 40 hours of work. Next one we have piece number 4, Blood and Snow. Another Maghar Orc. It's the second one that the same person commissioned me. For this one I went with a snow environment, and to contrast that I tried to add some worms in the piece in terms of blood and the warm light behind the character. This is kind of a very common thing that I do in my art. If everything that I've been given, like the character and the background, are kind of on one hue side of warm or cool, then I try to infiltrate the piece with some like artificially created opposite side of colors. So in this case, on the cool character and background, I try to add some warm light. Following piece, another third commission of an orc requested by the same person. This one is called Opulence, and I got requested to paint this orc in a little bit of a troll-ish like outfit, so I had a lot of gold to paint, and the best contrast with gold is red and green, which I pretty much had on this piece, and was pretty happy about that. Right, piece number 6, Downlight. It's Blood of Paladin, and for this piece I really wasn't sure what to do for the background. It first started as an abstract, just like somewhat a gradient, some swirlies, but then it just wasn't working out for me, so I kind of went into the environment last minute, and I feel like it worked out pretty well. Managed to sneak in some Ice Crown Citadel and to kind of contrast the bright aesthetic of the Paladin. Alright, piece number 7, Bittersweet Memories. Another big illustration which I did in this month. It was a quite complicated idea that I didn't fully understand at first from the commissioner, so it took a lot of changes, but ultimately this is where we arrived at. I would say it's a pretty comfort zone piece, because it's quite a close-up. However, we had like 2 portrait two portraits to paint one by one, and they're supposed to be kind of a reflection of each other, so they had to be quite similar, but at the same time look also different in the expression and everything. Definitely really enjoyed working on this piece, especially something that it might be surprising to you because it's kind of unrelated to the main story of the piece, but the thing that I enjoyed mostly working on were the candles. I just took it upon myself to get some crazy shapes going in this piece, and this is kind of the most fun that I've had while working on this. Piece number 8, Mist and Cinders. A Dark Iron Dwarf commission, and this one is quite special because this actually is a sorta a remake of an older commission, which was the first ever stream commission that I got to do. It was for the same person, of the same character, and it's just like a crazy coincidence how they ended up on my stream and decided to just immediately commission me, and I ended up repainting the same character to kind of see my progress over the 1 year, which I'll be definitely making a video on, and this is very much a highlight of this month for me. The piece turned out incredible. I couldn't be more happy with that. Some contrast of mint green and this like deep orange, just a lot of swirlies, a lot of interesting shapes, the perspective and the character pose, everything just exactly as I wanted it. Piece number 9, Dark Offer. And Undead Death Knight, and just gotta say this right away, this character is wearing one of the best armor sets in the game. I literally have the same outfit for my own Death Knight, and in general just painting undead characters is always fun. They're human looking, but if you get them wrong, if you get them looking creepy or like uncanny, that's even better, because they're undead, they're supposed to be like creepy looking. But yeah, in general, had a blast working on this piece. Piece number 10, Keystone Legend. The only personal artwork of this month. It's an idea that I've had for quite a while and wanted to do. The idea for it to be a huge stands for your character here and for other people to be able to commission me to paint the same but with their character. And the idea here is that she's putting a keystone in a keystone holder thing that you have to do to certain mythic dungeon in WoW. And for those of you who don't play WoW, it probably doesn't really seem like much, but in game it's actually kind of like an iconic moment, which at the same time I don't think it has ever been drawn or illustrated in a 2D media ever. But this is like a huge event, and it's like literally half of the game of what people do. They put the key and like it starts the dungeon, the challenge for 5 people, and I wanted to create it as like this memorable piece with the background of the current season zone. And people who would commission this huge would be like, oh, this is kind of like a piece, an artwork for you with your character for memory, because like you would have it, like going in the future and you would look back and see, oh, I did keys this season and I commissioned this kind of huge from this artist, and potentially I would do it every season. But yeah, so far I haven't had any any success with selling the huge. Yeah, but nonetheless, this is a personal piece. I painted my own character here, who's an evoker, and definitely spent quite some time here on rendering and, working on details. Potentially, if people would have commissioned me to paint this as a huge with their characters, I would have rendered the background and the sphere, the key holder even more. But if nobody will commission it, then I'll just leave it as it is. I think it's, for a personal piece, it definitely does the job. Right, and the last piece, 11th, called Fury Pirate. It's a Vulpira rogue. I kind of was struggling again with the background and feeling her in any kind of background, so I ended up again switching to the environment last minute. And just gotta say right away that Vulpiras are the most challenging race in World of Warcraft to paint by a mile. Like, nothing even comes close. Yeah, quite happy with this piece. Would have liked to kind of develop the background even more, but I ran out of time. Again, these quick illustrations that I'm showing, and most of them are quick unless I mention otherwise, I only have 6 hours to do so. Only have 6 hours to finish the piece like that. So if you're noticing difference in rendering and quality, it is because of that. Reflecting on this month, I've noticed that somehow I gravitated to mostly do scenes and environments. I kind of stepped away from doing abstract backgrounds and some simple gradients. And I really kind of like this. It is a huge upgrade in my opinion. It makes things harder, but at the same time, it raises the ceiling of how far it can go and how much the piece contains within itself. So I kind of want to take it as a rule for myself going forward. Every quick illustration would have an environment or a scene in the background. And if I am to pick my favorite of the month, it would definitely be Mist and Cinders, since it marks somewhat of a historical moment for my art career. Being able to see improvements over the year is truly incredible and motivating. I'll definitely be making a video on comparison those pieces year apart side by side. And this is all that I've managed to do this month. 11 artworks is not that much. I would want to aim at least 17 to 18, potentially 20 pieces a month, but I don't want to rush myself and to potentially sacrifice the quality of my art. Hope I'll be able to do more next month, but for now, let me know which one of the pieces you guys liked the most, and let me know how many art you did this month. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, consider checking out my Patreon or buying my prints. So next time.